of the Relatable Runners podcast. Today's podcast is Change is Good. We're going to talk all about our current seasons of change, and then also just in general why it's always a good idea to switch it up.
Yes, very good. So we're all kind of in different seasons of change, as Amber mentioned.
Some because we chose it, and some because, we were just
left
thrown
in the
into
dirt.
it, left
in the dust,
behind.
Sensing a little bit of bitterness.
Just a touch, but I'll get over it.
That was the hardest.
Someday.
That was the hardest part of the decisions that were made. Rest assured. But needless to say, now we just have to
Make it work. Find a way.
have to find a way, and we've done pretty good so far.
Yes.
And what's that quote, Niki? Is it a George Strait song?
Oh, I bet we're about to hear it.
Can I have more to go off of?
That George Strait, he wrote a lot of songs,
He
or
did.
sang a lot. I don't know how many of them
He
he
sang a
wrote.
lot of songs. One thing that stays the same is
That is not
No,
George Strait.
it's not George
The
Strait.
only thing, Tracy Bird.
I think it is Tracy Bird.
The only thing that stays the same is everything changes.
Everything
changes.
There it is. There it is. Sorry, George, to get you guys mixed up. That is very true, though. Everything changes. As soon as you get comfortable with something, it's probably going to change. As soon as you get adapted to something, it's probably going to change.
I was listening to an old sermon yesterday or Sunday, and he was talking about, he's like, either you are in a chaotic season of life or you're about to go into a chaotic season of life. Like, there's never, like, you're either in it or it's coming.
And it's just going to be different. It's never going to be just like, okay, everything is going to stay like this always. So we just have to learn how to adapt. But we're kind of talking in a different way of, change in your exercise and your routine, and how it is actually good to change things up, even though it's uncomfortable sometimes while you're in it.
Yes. So specific to your running, Whitney, tell us about some of the changes that you are experiencing.
Yes. So as we know, I have moved, and it's been very different. At first, it was very hard for me. It was because I'm just like by myself. It's hard just like being alone and not having friends to go run with, which I knew. I've been preparing myself for this. I knew it would be different once I got there. And yes, there will be beautiful scenery and lots of fun places for me to run, but I can't just run over to Amber's house in 6 minutes and then have Niki meet us in the middle, because it's going to be very different. So that part has been hard.
Which you as an upholder, I think, can deal with that better than me as a, wait, what am I again? I don't know. I need somebody to hold me accountable.
Yeah.
Like, I need somebody there to meet me.
What is the word that you are?
I can't remember.
We'll
We'll
have
refer
to-
back to
yeah.
podcasts like 12 or something.
There's something else. No, it was the four tendencies. Yeah.
I knew it was an early one.
Also, I found the book that I spoke of, just completely off topic. So it's The 1 Minute Manager Meets the Monkey. Not give
Whatever
me your
the
monkey.
heck you said
like
last
I said
time.
last
Don't
week.
give away your monkey.
Keep it on your shoulder. Well, we'll circle back to that. I'm glad
Okay.
you found the note. That's very good. But yes, with me being an upholder, and I knew I've been preparing myself for this. I knew it was going to be a very big change, a good change in a lot of ways, but also harder at times, being away from my friends and just being basically my own motivator to work out and kind of get it done. So I knew that was coming. Hasn't made it any easier. It was a little challenging at first, but I have been enjoying, where I live now. It's very hilly. Everywhere since I've moved, I have gotten, I know I've said this 8 times and y'all are probably tired of hearing it, but our friends here may not have heard it. Since I've moved, I've gotten a minimum of like 20 flights of stairs a day, and that's just literally going to check the mail. Our mailbox is at the end of the street. It's everywhere is a hill. So I have been enjoying just getting out and doing shorter, hillier runs. And normally, here it's generally flat. We would seek out, trail hill or hills that we would run. But it's generally, we could go for a long time on a pretty flat surface. And I would feel weird just getting out like to do 3 or 4 miles. Like, to me, that wouldn't, or 2 or 3 miles.
Yeah.
It wouldn't feel like I
Had accomplished a whole lot.
Right, and here at my new house, like 3 miles, I'm like, oh my gosh, my legs are shaking because I'm doing tons of hill sprints and just kind of switching it up that way. And I've actually found that I have enjoyed it, and it's helped me kind of grasp, you don't always have to do hours of cardio. You don't have to, do something crazy for it to be effective or beneficial.
Right. It still counts.
It still counts, and it's completely different.
And
so I think it's a good
helping
switch
in
up.
a different way.
Yeah, good switch up for my body.
And your quads have noticed.
My quads have already grown within 2 weeks, which means I guess my legs are getting stronger, so that will help, my running. So I know if my legs are visibly stronger, they are, getting stronger and going to help me with my running. And I have found that I've been didn't even realize, like yesterday, I went out for a run. I was just going to do an easy pace, and every time I kept looking down, I thought I was running one pace, and I was running like a minute and a half faster than I felt like I was running. And so
it's impressive. That's a big
big
difference.
It was at 5 p.m. and it was literally 75 or 80 degrees outside. It was hot, and normally it would have been very challenging, but I feel like all the hills and the shorter distances are helping like my cardio and speed in a different way. So it's been cool, and I've kind of learned to accept just getting out and getting a few miles in, and I think it'll help with my distance.
Yeah.
And
any miles is better than no miles.
Yeah, and I think it's a good switch up sometimes, for your body to do. You get so comfortable doing what you're used to doing and what you can do, and it's good to switch it up.
Even like scientifically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
like your body does get used to it, and it just becomes like you're neutral.
Yeah.
So,
So
it is
even
good
if I'm
to-
doing a long run, if that's what I do every weekend on the same flat roads, it's not going to be as good of a workout because my body's adapted. So
Which is wild. When we started doing strength training, Amber and I started. You'd been doing it like while we were like, oh my gosh.
oh wow,
Wow, okay.
This
much
does
better.
help.
Yeah. So I'm trying to make the best of it. I am enjoying it. It is different, but we have been. We met in the middle. We'll talk about this on our long run
Okay.
recap, but just meeting in the middle has a little bit of a different meaning now. But we're kind of adjusting to all the change that is happening, and there are some good things that can come out of it. So, Niki, what about? Obviously, you have undergone some large changes and gone
Yes,
from not running to easing back
running.
into it.
To, went from Niki, now I prefer to be called Nikita.
Yeah.
There's just been a lot of changes. I'm just kidding.
And she went from like, okay, I'm going to jump back in it and run like 2 or 3 miles to, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and sign up for a half marathon this weekend.
Like I
Yeah,
do
too.
feel like I was tricked into that, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
This was last week your first full week, because I know you did the 1 mile.
Yes.
And then this is your first full week of like running like every day, exercising.
Yeah, exercising like I would have every day.
Uh-huh. So
Yes,
tell us about
and
that and the changes and how you've felt with
So,
that.
after I had my my ab muscles, pulled in, and they're sutured together now. So I kind of feel like there's no excuses anymore. I feel like maybe I always
Had that as a
and like the extra skin, and like that was an excuse, but like it's not there anymore. There's no more, nothing's holding you back. So I feel like I've been mentally, I don't know,
Like maybe pushing yourself a little
myself
better
a little
or
bit more. Yeah.
And I have seen, this is just my view from the outside, I think, and you know this too, your mental strength, like you can get in your own head very much so.
Oh yeah.
And that's how you can, like on longer runs, you can do more, and then you'll hold back. Or in races, that's your tendency is to kind of reserve and like pull back and hide behind,
Yes.
But I feel like this transformation, although it's been a body transformation, it has helped your mental
Yes.
transformation.
Nikita is mentally stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding, Nikki. My friends joke
Me,
about that I made just a new person. But I've really enjoyed it, and I did. So I had full clearance to start working out again, but I definitely experienced, I don't know, some of like the sutures were like got a little infected. So so I took a few days off. I'll have to show you guys later.
That's okay.
Yeah, I guess you don't want to see it. But, so I'm trying to like balance, like my body wants to get back, but also like I am still healing. So when they said, you can do whatever you want, like they might not have meant like, go run a marathon next weekend.
Yeah.
Because that's not
But a half.
normal.
Now
But a
that's
half marathon
acceptable.
is
Yeah.
acceptable.
A
So,
hilly half when it's 75.
yeah.
75 degrees outside.
Yeah, that'll be.
Well, I feel like we may have Viola flashbacks.
Yes.
I hope not.
Our Grundy County friends that we sang with and met, she messaged me the other day. I think she told me happy birthday, and she was like, "Oh, we're doing Viola in 2 weeks. Hope to see y'all there." And I said, "Girl, I'm gonna be honest. We need a few years mentally to be ready for that again, but I hope to see you soon. Thanks."
If you want to come meet us at the Strolling Gym, we'll be there.
No, we can't do that.
Cannot do that.
So, how
I
do you feel?
definitely enjoyed the change. And like I said, like you said, kind of like my brain just feels like there's no more excuses.
Oh, I
You
don't have
gotta
an excuse now, so
Yeah.
I can just.
push forward.
Yeah.
You got this. So I've enjoyed the change and the challenge, and
Of getting back into it.
getting back into it.
But you've killed it.
Thank
You have.
You really have.
Thank you
I've
very
been
much.
overly impressed.
Yeah. With
And-
distance and hill sprints and
Yes.
consistency.
And
And keeping up, like, no big deal.
right.
So Amber, I know you did not get to choose the change in what you're experiencing.
You did have time, at least, to kind of
Deal with it,
deal
adjust.
with it. That is honestly
therapy.
the hardest part for me, was leaving you. But I know we were still together, like 2 or 3 times a week at least,
Yes.
like we were.
Like this week, we're gonna see each other like 3
and
times.
you know
right?
what I just thought about? Remember when BY's schedule changed and I was so pissed,
Ticked.
upset that I couldn't run with y'all at 5 a.m. during the week like we always used to. 2 times a week we used to run together. And then I did not like that at all because I could not run. Like I was trapped. I couldn't leave Landon. He had to leave for work. But in a way, I think, now that we're through that change, maybe it helped
Help transition a little bit.
help transition instead of me like suddenly being gone and not being,
Right.
we're now kind of used to running together once a week, maybe twice. And so that kind of helps. So that's a good example of, although it may not be what you want at the time, it could be preparing you for something else, or it could, turn out good and you don't even know that it's benefiting you. So,
Right.
anyway,
And
you
I've
had
had
time kind of to process.
Yes, and I've had to be a little bit better about going to burn on my own or
Yes.
going and running every once in a while on my own. And I have gotten to run with Erin more, which she is pretty stinking fast.
She is.
And
She
so
is
she
fast.
pushes me whether whether I'm even thinking about it or not, like subconsciously. I think I would never be like, can we please walk?
Right. Because I know me and you, it's almost like we were too
Too
comfortable.
comfortable because we'd be
I'm
like,
like,
let's just walk a
Can we just
second.
walk? Can we?
Let's just
You
enjoy
know
this
what?
nice weather.
This sunrise is beautiful. Let's
Right.
just take it easy.
Yeah.
So that's been good, and I feel like I've gotten a little closer to her because she is very good at like if all 4 of us are running, just kind of zoning out and like we'll be like, Erin,
Hello.
Erin.
So, oh, were you talking to me? Oh.
But when it's just her and I, like we both just talk the whole entire time, and so
Yeah.
I've gotten to know her a lot better, which is great.
That is good.
So that's good. More new, or not new, but more running friends, and
yeah.
so which she's with us a lot, so
Right.
she's part of the crew. But
course.
just gotten to know her on a deeper
one-on-one
level.
basis.
Yeah.
And I think she enjoys obviously, or she wouldn't keep running with us. I think she enjoys our presence, like just being with us.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have to even be talking. Like you said, like we'll be
Yeah.
talking to her and she will be zoned out, like we're not even in a conversation together. She can just run, but I think she enjoys being with us. But she
Right.
is
Correct.
also better at one-on-one
Yes.
communication, just like I am.
Yes.
Prefers to bond one-on-one. And not to mention her legs are the length of your entire
Body.
Body.
Yes. Yeah.
So
that is
has
true.
probably,
So my
you're gonna be
short little
lightning
chubby
fast.
legs have to go a lot faster to keep up with our
Chubby.
long legs.
They are not chubby. But I bet that will help with your, not that you needed help with your speed, but I'm sure that is
Oh, I
benefiting
definitely
you.
A
think-
very good change.
a very good change.
I remember
And-
when we would run, like I would have like 5,000 steps, and just because, and I'm 3 inches taller than you.
Yeah.
Aaron's probably like 5 inches taller than you.
Yeah.
Probably.
And like I would have 5,000 steps, and you'd have like 57, just because you have to move your legs that much more. So you probably have like 10,000 steps now compared to her 5.
Probably. But it's been good.
Yeah.
And we've still as you'll hear, I've still tried to meet some, and obviously we still meet to get to podcasts and stuff. And we're doing a race this weekend all together, so it's not like we're just never going to see each other
It's
again.
different, but it's like, we can make it work. I mean,
Right.
it's not an option. We will.
Well, and having like the longer runs scheduled or races scheduled, it helps me be a better upholder on my own because I'm like, okay, I have to get some runs in, whether Erin can do it or not. I'm
Right.
going to have to do this on my own, if not, because I'm not going to be able to do a long run or a race if I don't
Right.
do the other work through the week.
And you, as an obliger, I believe that's what you are.
I think that's
Obliger.
it, yes.
Where your tendency is to make sure everyone else is happy and
And she would like show up because she said to
Only
you,
be-
she
yeah.
wouldn't want to make you frustrated that she didn't show up.
Right.
Kind of like today.
Correct. Thank
I
you.
ran 6 miles this morning with Erin, and Niki had texted me about going to burn at 8:30, and I was like, but I'm running with
this is a prime
Erin.
example.
And she was like, well, you can do both. So I was like,
Oh, yes,
okay,
Yes, you're right.
since you want me to be there, I will be there.
I mean, I just
So-
ran 6 fast miles, but I'll do a heavyweight leg day. That's no problem. I'll be there soon.
Right.
You know what's funny? I asked
You're gonna be
Whitney
a beast.
too.
That's all.
I asked Whitney, and she said, "No, thank you."
I'm going at 5. Bye bye.
No thanks. So all of our tendencies definitely play a part in how we're going through these changes and helping us grow through them. And
sure.
some of us are, making plans we can't keep, and some of us are, making double plans. So
And some of us are in the middle, just sticking to
I
the
said I was
OG
going to
plan.
do this, and this is what I'm doing.
This is what I'm going to do. And I will be honest, last night my plan was to take Landon to, he has a new jiu-jitsu that he's doing in Tullahoma. And so I was taking him there, and then I was going to run while he's in practice. And then BY has practice, and then I would get Landon and take him home. And Hobby Lobby is right next to it. I needed to go there and just look at things. I need a lot of furniture. But I knew I was running. I was in my running clothes, so I literally ran in there, and I could have easily shopped for 1 hour.
Right.
Didn't buy anything. I did a quick run through, took some pictures and stuff so I could process it later and think about what I needed to buy. Ran in and out in 5 minutes, and then did my run. Although Hobby Lobby was very tempting.
It was calling your name.
Yes. So
That's unnatural.
a little strange, but
a little strange, but
part of my personality.
proud of you, I guess.
Thanks. So with us in this situation that we're in right now, we always trying to find the good in anything that we're going through, or at least a reason that we can grow or whatever. And I think, our meeting in the middle now definitely has a new meaning. It used to be meet in the middle of Rucker, like I'll come to Amber's house, Niki will meet us in the middle of the road.
Well, it still means like the same thing. Like we're still meeting in the middle, just
Yeah.
like the location.
Just
doesn't
different
change.
location.
The middle's a lot different.
The middle
Yeah.
is a lot different, I guess. But I think that's also good because it will force us to, there's several times we've gone out to run and we're like, which way do we want to go? We've gone this way so many times. I'm so tired of running in this neighborhood, or I don't want to go out there and back. We've done that. And we didn't realize, like, when we were saying that, oh, well, this will change one day. And then,
Right.
you know,
We'll wish we could just walk out the door and be like
right.
in the middle. But now
But-
we are going to have some new beautiful scenery.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have different routes. I feel like every time we run, it'll be something
Something very,
somewhat
very
new.
different.
Yeah.
And like we said before, like change of scenery and switching it up, that keeps it interesting and
It
that
does.
keeps you entertained. So when we meet in the middle and like kind of alternate, that'll be new for all of us. And then when we come here, we can do our longer stretches on flat ground, maybe a few trips up Trill Hill, and then when we come to our house, we can do hills and
I'm a little nervous about that.
through the state park. I took
It's-
Niki there the other day.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
it's so
my
pretty though.
quads were like burning.
Screaming.
It
Yes.
feels completely different.
But that is so good because just like our race this weekend, it's going to be pretty hilly and
Right.
you'll be better for it. And I feel like I will be struggling because I haven't really done hills in
Well,
a while.
I also will be struggling because I just
Well, we can struggle together.
We'll all struggle
Yeah.
in different ways. Because I haven't done that much distance, but I've done hills. You've done more distance, not a lot of hills. So we'll see how it plays out. But I think it'll be good for us because we'll all have, different scenery, different spots, and we get to kind of explore different areas that we wouldn't normally.
and I love exploring.
I do too. And just from
It's
this past weekend, we'll talk about this in a minute, but it was fun because you don't know what to expect, and so it keeps your mind more occupied
Yeah.
and then gives us more to talk about, the different houses and more stuff to look at. And
We do need to get better on our, like maybe if we turn down a road, like we need to make a pile of rocks or something.
so we don't
We
get
can need
lost.
to start dropping beans behind us.
Gels. Maybe now that
I
we
did know where we were going. Thank you.
now that we know kind of where the midpoint is after this weekend, we can map it out.
Have
map
a
our
route,
run, we can
yeah.
have a route, yeah. So,
Depending on how far we're planning on going.
so I think that is good. And Niki, tell us why you should change it up anyway. I mean, it's good just to do different stuff, right? Whether it's running, strength. I know you mentioned earlier that when you started strength training, how much different that made your running feel.
Yeah, well, it all goes back to the science of it. And as a scientist, it is very good to mix it up. And obviously, I am the one to ask about this because I am the scientist.
That's why I specifically,
Yes.
stopped talking, didn't address Amber, left us out of this, and just said Niki.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm also a historian, so if you had any other questions, I could answer those as well.
Scientifical historian.
Yes.
Is what I would call you.
But right now, we're talking about, Amber, come on, stay on topic, please, is when you change it up and you're used to running like we were used to running the flat surfaces. Hills, oh my gosh, we're dead. No, now we can do hills, we can do flat. We're changing it up, we're getting better. Start doing strength. These biceps aren't going to grow themselves. So we went in there and we trained.
This is not really what I had in mind, but go ahead.
Anyways, We've trained up our biceps. It's good for you. It's very good to change it up. And when you look back on your life, this is how I look at everything. You look back on your life and you lived, and there's no shame in the game of living in the same house for forever or doing the exact same thing. Like, there is something good to be said with consistency. But also, like, when you look back at your life, like, what does your life resume look like? Did you do the exact same thing every single day? And I do not want to look back and be able to say, yes,
You like to do different things every 5 to 7 minutes at least.
Correct.
Interesting.
But, you can, look back and, break up your life. Oh, that's when I really was doing strength training a lot. Oh, that's when we lived in Oklahoma and we did all those hills. Or that's, you can't just... I get sad when I think about every single day looking like the one before it, and then the next one's going to look just like it.
You gotta get out of your comfort zone, whether that's with what you're doing in your daily life or with your exercise. Your body adapts to everything that you do, so you have to keep changing it. Whether you're, typically doing long distances, if you want to do shorter distances, you can probably run a little faster for a shorter period of time, or if you are used to doing
short little sprint or hills, then maybe you should try to take off and do a flat, longer run sometimes.
Yeah. Slow down a little bit, and you can
Slow
probably
down.
do it longer. Yeah.
Yes.
And if we all put our minds to it, we could all be scientists.
Yeah, change your profession and become a scientist, or change your friends, whatever
Right.
you need to do. Just kidding, Niki.
Kind of.
So that was very helpful information from Niki.
That excerpt there was...
We really appreciate
Wow.
your contribution
Yes.
today. Thank you for being here. And
You're
that
welcome.
will be basically,
Stay tuned for the long run recap because it's a good one.
yes.
Long run recap. This week's long run was an intended 8 miles with the 3 of us finally reuniting, but it didn't turn out that way.
I think even though this was not a long distance run, it was very eventful.
It was majorly eventful.
And it was very fun.
It was eventful, and
Yes.
fun, and
Why don't you start with our game plan and how that turned out?
yes, so we found this great spot that appeared to be almost the midpoint for both of us. I had to go 6 minutes further, but I was all right with that.
It was my birthday weekend.
It
Y'all were
was
doing this just...
Whitney's birthday weekend, so we definitely wanted to get it in this weekend. And it had been a while. It's been quite a while.
A very long time.
Since we've got to do a long run together. So we were meeting at Old Stone Fort Park or something like that at
Beautiful
6 o'clock.
trails.
It was just gonna be magical, and I pulled in because I arrived first, only to see that they apparently do not open till 8 o'clock, and it was barricaded off. So
This is something we must keep in mind with state parks and things like that. They don't open until the sun is all the way
usually.
up.
and if there would have been a place to park, we probably could have just went around the barricades. It wasn't like
They're just suggestions anyways.
Right.
Yeah, we would typically.
But there was nowhere to park. And I had been in a long car ride and I had to use the restroom.
It was an emergency.
And so then we went to the nearest Marathon gas station and it appeared to be closed. So then we proceeded to the Hardee's.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yes.
then I got in the car and we sat there for quite some time, right?
Because you are leaving out a very important detail.
The weather is not.
Because I
Oh
actually
my gosh, duh.
noted on this the night before, hey, it's 100% chance of storms tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we know.
We're like, okay, yeah.
Y'all just kept ignoring it, and y'all like,
Yeah.
what are we wearing? And I said, I guess I'm wearing a swimsuit. It's going to be, and y'all are like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, but it's Whitney's birthday run. We can't do it on Sunday. We're already got our stuff laid out.
Right.
We're
Not
doing
to
it.
mention, 90% of the time when it says it's going to rain, even if it's 100%, 90%, whatever, by the time we get out and start running, it's either sprinkling or not raining
I
at
feel
all.
very strongly about this. Somehow, when it is pouring, when we start running, it almost always stops.
It does. And we just pray that the same blessings would be bestowed upon us on Saturday, and they were not.
They were not.
They were not.
They were
It was pouring.
So, guys,
I forgot.
what did we decide to do?
Well, we decided that maybe we'd just go eat at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
And then run a little bit afterwards if
Yeah.
it slowed down.
It's 6:45 now at this point?
No, I think it wasn't that quite that late yet.
Oh, you're right.
Because we pulled up to Cracker Barrel enjoy a nice birthday breakfast, and they didn't open till 7.
So we're like, all right, all signs are pointing to us running prior to eating pancakes and biscuits. So we parked the car, we put on our hats and swimsuits, rain attire, and we just took off
Right from the Cracker Barrel
parking lot. And it was actually, we only did, what, did we do 2 miles?
2 miles.
I think it was just over 2,
Little
but
over.
yeah.
But it felt like 5, didn't it?
It was very hilly.
It was very hilly. We got to see tons of baby
cutest
cows.
little baby cows.
It was like a very eventful 2.37 miles or
And we
whatever
did get
it
lost
was.
a little bit because Amber thought we should turn this way. Whitney and I were like, no, for sure, that's not right.
That's how it happened.
Ended up, it was right. So, sorry.
Yeah,
we
we
were
got
right.
2 very hilly, good, like I felt
Yeah.
productive after that.
And I had a lot of flights of stairs after we did
A
that.
lot.
Yeah.
In a shorter time frame,
Yes.
like it was intense. And so we did that. It was raining a little bit, a little drizzly, but
It was pouring.
it was pouring rain, but I was really thankful to have you guys there. And
So then at approximately 7 o'clock, we went into the bathroom at Cracker Barrel and dried ourselves off with paper towels.
oh yes, we were
Yep.
soaking wet.
Yes.
I do recall this.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And I think Nikki changed her shirt. I gave Whitney my jacket, and
You had,
I had another shirt in the car.
right.
It was
So we were like halfway sopping wet, and then we just sat down at the table and acted like nothing happened
Yeah.
and ordered breakfast.
and had some coffee and
had
some
birthday
pancakes and French toast.
We sat
and-
there for a while. It was quite enjoyable.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
BY later, he didn't ask about the run immediately. He had done CrossFit and he had like a very hard workout, so he couldn't really speak. And then later that day, he was like, "Oh yeah, how was your run with the girls?" I was like,
Well, about that.
it was really good. And then we went to Cracker Barrel and it was fun. We were like, "Oh, okay." But it was a good time. I don't think we'll ever forget
It was
that.
very
Yes.
memorable.
It was very
learned
memorable.
a
Your
lot.
32nd birthday will
Never be.
go down in history.
Yeah, exactly. It was a good one.